Hello Crunchers, welcome back to Death Synchronicity. And we are trying to find some medicine.
More of that barbed wire that adorns all the city's buildings. If I get up close enough, I can hear a slight buzz, a sure sign that this fence is electrified.
What is that? It's like electric fence. Oh, what was that? What the hell?
I have no intention of sticking my arms through this electrified fence. As a suicide option, I think I'd rather use the park next door.
There's a flat metal object buried in the bushes, but I can't see it very well from this side of the fence.
Gotta really be careful. What the hell is lying around here? Can we grab it with that?
Shoot over there, even if I had a projectile handy. I consider myself rather clumsy. I just end up getting my fingers caught in the elastic.
Guess.
I have no intention of sticking my arms through this electrified fence. As a suicide option, I think I'd rather use the park next door.
What is that again?
There's a flat metal object buried in the bushes, but I can't see it very well from this side of the fence.
Alright, let's see if we can get on the other side of the fence. Oh. What the hell?
The trees and bushes conceal structures where hundreds and hundreds of metal barrels are being stored. Whatever's inside them, there must be thousands of gallons of it down there. In truth, the part that's visible from the road is only a fraction of it. The vegetation conceals a much larger area.
It's like there's a ladder here. Right? Don't understand. Oh, maybe I can.
Use this here? How? Okay, I'll wear the gloves to cut the electrified wire.
Ah! Yes, 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 yes. Ah, thank God.
Let's see what's down here. It's a trapdoor, and it looks like it hasn't been used in a long, long time.
Here we go. Oh shit, that looks awful. What the hell is going on? Are they doing experiments?
What is this place? Where the devil am I? It seems like the small building at the ground level is just camouflage. The most important part is here underground. Are all of them dissolved? How many patients can there be packed in here? Dozens? Hundreds? This is horrible.
Jesus Christ, guys.
I can't look directly into them. These lights are so bright that it seems like day in here. It must take an enormous amount of electricity to maintain this building. That explains the number of barrels out there. That's where the fuel is stored, that they need to run all the compound's generators.
Great. It's a hell of a drop, and the railing wobbles when you touch it. Awesome. Wait a minute though. Isn't the idea of installing this to make it safe for people to cross from one side to the other?
Oh my goodness, look at all the blood. And they're just piling people up. Awful, awful, awful.
Hydrofluoric acid. What's a chemical like this doing inside a medical facility? The smell alone is giving me a headache. Let's see if this grate can be removed.
Yes, perfect.
It looks like this hole leads to a passageway on the other side.
Let's go.
There's a bunch of papers stuck to the door of the closet. There seems to be some type of bureaucratic form among them. Military personnel, GPS, targets, rifles. I'm afraid what's described on these pages doesn't have very much to do with typical medical activities in a hospital.
Okay, so GPS, you must enter the complete address to target location. Make sure to update the geographic database. Disease test green, not infected red is bad. Long range rifles in main armory. Pick up. Yeah, I would love a weapon. Priority objective. Minimum risk. Saturn Adrian. Tiong Edwin. Let's try to remember the faces. Bootkri. Browno. Faye and Kubilius. Maximum risk. Jesus Christ. Ritualized objective.
Military personnel, GPS, targets, rifles. I'm afraid what's described on these pages doesn't have very much to do with typical medical activities in a hospital.
Very interesting, very interesting.
Better not. I'm an intruder in this building, and it's under the Army's control. Going down to the main hall of the hospital would be walking straight into the lion's den. Judging by the horrible noise coming from the other side, this door must lead to the vast hall where the dissolved are going through their final agony. As Reverend Blake might say, a stairway down to the very bowels of the underworld.
Oh, the dissolve is the disease that's
a tiny lock is preventing
around
you
the
from
world.
opening the door, and despite its size, it seems to be very strong.
We have a crowbar.
I'm not going to open it this way. I don't see any cracks in the door big enough to get any leverage.
Fine.
It's an enormous, wrinkled plastic bag that looks like it wants to escape from the guard's trash can.
Is there something in it?
It has a side zipper that's open. The lining of the bag is damp and sticky. What the hell could they have been keeping inside it?
Sticky. That doesn't sound good.
It's sagging from the weight, and so dilapidated that I doubt this janitor's cart has many more trips left in him. It's sagging from the weight. A tiny lock is preventing...
So tiny lock. What else do we have? Okay, we're good. There's a poster. You see that?
The future is in our hands. Collaborate, rebuild, report. From the text, I say this poster must have been part of a government campaign launched after the Great Wave.
Alrighty.
We must be very deep underground, and the blades of this fan are barely turning at half speed. That explains why the air down here is almost unbreathable. Unlike its neighbors, this door is hanging open. All I see inside are remnants of stickers and torn photographs. It looks like someone left in a hurry, without even saying goodbye. Unlike his neighbors, all I see, it looks like...
That's challenging.
A row of anonymous, ramshackle lockers. I get the impression that everything in here could fall apart at any moment. Maybe in solidarity with those poor unfortunates screaming in the main hall. Maybe I should be more subtle. If I try to open these cabinets by beating on them, I'll only end up denting them.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
The bolt cutters are very worn. I'm not going to waste energy using them without good reason. More of that official propaganda. Your silence is the enemy. Help the cleanup brigades, is the slogan of this poster. Benches in front of the lockers. Typical locker room. And so is this musty smell of old sweat and dirty socks that permeates this entire room. The floor of this place is one big revolting ashtray. It's a little disconcerting to note that cleanliness is not exactly a top priority in the hospital.
Can I use my crowbar with the bench?
I don't think I'd gain anything by using this here. The bolt cutters are very worn. I'm not going to...
Okay.
Locked. Of course. I'm starting to get annoyed with this sense of ownership I see in all the people with closets, lockers, and other storage furniture in this city. This glass cabinet has dozens of medications stored inside, classified by type. Antibiotics, anti-inflammatory drugs, diuretics, and, painkillers.
Crowbar?
I'd rather use a key to open this case, but I'm a bit short on time. So...
Oh yeah! Oops.
Who is it? Who's there?
Oh, excuse me,
What are you doing here? Have you come to steal something? Take one more step and I'll call the soldiers.
No, wait, please, don't do that.
Security, this is Nurse Uma Grundy.
Oh shit.
I need you to come right away.
Oh no.
No, wait!
I thought the first priority of people of medical professions was to save lives. Wait a minute, did you say Uma? Nurse Uma?
Wait a minute, did you say Uma? Nurse Uma?
Yes, that's my name.
Wait, please don't turn me in. I know your father. I saved his life just a few hours ago. They were going to deport him to the refugee camp, but I was able to stop it.
My God, did you say my father? Tell me, how is he? Has anything happened to him?
Don't worry, Uma. He's safe. He told me about you and your work in this place. He was worried. He'll want to know that you're all right. Wait, please don't turn me in.
This is Nurse Uma Grundy. It turned out to be a false alarm. You don't have to come, thank you.
Thank you, Uma. You did the right thing. My name is Michael.
But now you should explain why you burst in here like that. What are you looking for, Michael?
I came to get medicine. I need a cure for the dissolved.
Cure? There's no such thing. You won't find it here or anywhere else. The authorities distributed a memo among the medical staff months ago. I'm sure you can still find a copy of it around here somewhere. It told us that they've definitely abandoned the search for a medicine. You made a mistake risking your life to get in here. The only thing we store here is pain. This place is a tomb for those poor infected devils, but also for the people who work here. I'm sorry, Michael. The dissolved are condemned to death.
No, that can't be. There has to be a solution. A cure. Oh, man. Poor Rod. Poor Colin.
It's gotta be a solution.
But I heard in the refugee camp, they said a cure is being produced and stored here. Well, if that's not the case, what's the purpose of a building like this?
The Army deliberately keeps that rumor about a possible cure alive. You see, as long as people still have some hope left, it is much easier to control the city more effectively. But it's a lie.
I understand.
This medical center was built just after the Great Wave, taking advantage of some abandoned underground facilities. That was when the authorities were beginning to work on their project to rebuild the city. They told us the building was going to be used to take in the first patients. Of course, we had no idea the disease would become so widespread. I left my job in a clinic downtown to come here. I wanted to lend a hand. They demanded total confidentiality about our work to avoid causing panic in the population. Not even my father knew what we were really doing in here.
Yes. He told me that when I asked him about this place.
At first, we treated the patients with great care. There was medicine to ease their suffering and even research into a possible cure. Everything was going smoothly.
And then what happened?
Things started to go wrong. When the number of patients multiplied, we couldn't keep up. And then we began to run out of even the most basic supplies. And that was when the army took over complete control of the center.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Then they sealed off the building. No one was allowed to leave, not even us. We doctors and nurses have been shut in here for months, isolated without even a glimpse of daylight. They say it's for security reasons. It's for our own safety. Oh yeah. Now our medical care is limited to wrapping up the patients in plastic bags, like the ones they use to transport cadavers, and then simply waiting for them to die, doing what little we can do to ease their suffering. Then we dispose of their remains, dissolving the black bags in acid for decontamination. And that's about it. That's all we can do with the resources we have, and sometimes it's just too much to bear.
Condemned to die. I heard their cries of pain out there. What really happens to the dissolved?
These people suffer the most excruciating pain and die in the most horrible way I've ever seen. The first symptoms are bouts of nausea and fainting, which become more frequent and prolonged as the disease progresses, until in the end their entire metabolism enters a state of shock. Then their entire cell structure dissolves. It simply disintegrates. There's no medical explanation. It just happens. But there's something even stranger about the disease.
What could be stranger than what you just told me?
The dissolved become erratic, unpredictable, eccentric. They're uncontrollable. That's why the army fears them. They're afraid of their unpredictable behavior, but also of their strange messages. So the sole function of this place is to keep them locked away, hidden, and under the army's control, until death takes them off their hands, one by one. It's also why people who harbor the dissolved are punished, and it's also the reason for the existence of the cleanup brigades.
The cleanup brigades. I've seen how they behave.
They're savages. I despise them. They're like predatory animals, heartless and unscrupulous. The rest of the staff refuses to share the facilities with them, so their lockers are out in the hallway. That's where they keep everything they need for their hunting expeditions. The GPSs, the disease detection tests, their ID badges. Each unit is made up of 2 soldiers, 1 doctor and 1 nurse. I mean, doctors and nurses collaborating with those bloodthirsty animals, but then they say, "What do you want? It's our job, and somebody's got to do it."
Yes, that phrase sounds familiar.
It's bone-chilling. Police and criminals using exactly the same words to justify their actions. You gotta do what you gotta do. That seems to be the slogan of the executioners of this new world.
And what is it that makes the dissolve so unpredictable and dangerous?
They know, Michael. You probably think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, they know.
No,
They talk
not
about
really.
events no one else knows about. They sense things. They bring back information from the places they go. And they talk to the dead there, Michael. They communicate with the dead. They know, Michael. That's all.
They're just sick people, Uma.
No! They're more than just ordinary sick people. You wouldn't talk like that if you had been living with them, and their messages and their prophecies all these months.
But I thought they were just controlling the patients to keep the disease from spreading.
But that's a lie, a blatant lie. The spread of the disease is accelerating. The number of cases is multiplying every day. But it's not contagious. We doctors and nurses have been treating the sick for months, in direct contact with them and their remains. And the rate of contagion among us is no higher than out there. The army is lying.
But then, how is the disease spread?
We don't know, Michael. No one knows. What we do know is that it's not caused by direct contact with the victims. There's another reason for the Army's secrecy about the dissolved. Fear. It's human nature to fear the unknown. We tend to panic when faced with something we don't understand. And this damn disease is more than any of us can handle.
Wait a minute. Did you just say the dissolved make prophecies?
Let me tell you a story. When I first came to the center, I became friendly with a patient, a 13-year-old girl. All the time I was taking care of her, she never stopped chatting. She told me all about the underground highways. She said she went there every day.
Underground highways?
She said they all went there when they lost consciousness. Obviously, I felt great pity for the girl, but in time I also came to feel tremendous fear. I was afraid of that poor, hopeless child. Her visions, her dreams, her messages terrified me. And then one night she sat down next to another patient, an older woman who looked surprisingly healthy. According to our calculations, this woman still had a few months to live. The woman had just lost consciousness. "Leave me alone with her," the girl said to me. "It won't be long now." And she took the woman's hand. And just seconds later, the woman started to dissolve, shrieking and writhing in pain, until there was nothing left of her but a puddle of brown, viscous liquid. The girl turned to me and said, "I knew she was leaving us, and I didn't want her to go alone. That would have been very sad, wouldn't it, Uma?" The girl's face was still dripping with the remains of the patient. She knew what was going to happen, Michael. She saw it. From then on, my fear became uncontrollable. I felt defenseless next to her.
I understand.
Finally, my panic was so great that I refused to go anywhere near her. And I even, God forgive me, I felt secretly relieved when she herself finally dissolved. They know, Michael. And that's why they're so dangerous to the people in power now. Talk to my father, Michael. Tell him that I'm all right, that he shouldn't worry, that we'll be seeing each other soon, very soon.
Wow. Lot of information. Alright guys. Hope you liked this episode. This is an awesome game. Good story, good graphics, interesting, intriguing.
Let's see. Inside, I only see dust and old papers and a tiny key.
I just clicked randomly because it's just working. Alright guys, leave a like below, a comment, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more episodes, and I'll see you next time. Bye.